I'm Lexley Overton, and today our practice tip is all about peak performance. And it's about the strategies that help you to recharge, to recover, to feel really amazing so that in anything that you want to do, you have the energy to step in and to really do it at a high performing state. So, what we know about performance, that there is actually a performance cycle that happens within our system and that we can elevate that cycle for higher performance. So the performance cycle has a main part that is about the performing part, the time that the task that you're focused on, the brief that you're writing, something that you want to create, really being focused into that in the performing part of something. And then what's really key in the cycle to have peak performance is the second part of the cycle, which is all about recovery. And I often have that lawyers, come to me and talk to me about being burned out or just feeling like they can't get things done. And it's often because they're not really paying attention to the key part of peak performance cycle, that is the recovery part of the cycle. So we are energy beings. I want you to think of yourself like your cell phone that you plug in at night. Every night you plug it in because it needs to recharge its battery. It's the same thing for us, and that our mental, emotional, physical energy needs to have a recovery phase so that it allows us to be able to be in higher peak performing states for what we want to do in the future. So what we're going to talk about today are some really quick and easy strategies that will help you in the recovery phase. And they're all about how we can learn to disconnect from the fast-paced, high-pressure world that you're in, and to actually take intentional time for the recovery part, the recharging part. So there's simple ways that you can do this every single day. First, schedule regular digital detoxes. I know that's probably like, what? I don't know that I can do that or whatever. But if we are constantly on by looking at emails, text messages, phone calls, scrolling social media, even watching TV or Netflix or something like that, then your brain is constantly being bombarded. And we need a period of time where we're not with the mental clutter. And one of the ways to do that is to get off of digital devices. So my tip would be, if you're going to schedule that at any time, do it at the very last hour of your day before you go to sleep. That helps you to actually sleep better, and to be able to go into a deeper quality of sleep. I also like to do it first thing in the morning because neuroscience tells us that when we wake up first thing, that our brains are really close to a brainwave state that will allow us to go into a deep flow state for productivity. So to do that, you want to limit your distractions. You'll be working on a computer, but limiting all other digital distractions so that your system can go into a flow state, which is if you're distracted, you can't be in flow. And flow is the optimal state performance. So the first strategy, digital detox on a regular basis. The second one is incorporating some type of mindfulness practice into your day. Now, that word gets used a lot and people don't really know what that means, but it's very simple. Here's a mindfulness practice. Take a deep breath in with me and a long, slow exhale. Now, this time I want you to focus right at the tip of your nose. So just focus your awareness to the tip of your nose and take a deep breath in and a long, slow exhale, focusing on the tip of your nose. This is a mindfulness practice. And what's really great is you could do it anytime because your breath is always with you. Also, using breathing practices as a mindfulness practice has an extra bonus. When you're doing deep breaths, you're stimulating the vagus nerve, which helps to get your physical system out of fight or flight. So mindfulness practice can be very simple to do just by breathing or bringing in your five senses, like at a really mindful level. So an example would be if we brought in the sense of touch right now, everywhere that my body is touching something. What is your body touching right now? What's the heaviest sense of touch? What's the lightest sense of touch? So the heaviest for me is I'm seated in a chair. I can feel my hips into the chair. And the lightest sense of touch right now is either my breath or the vent above me blowing air on me as the air conditioner is on. You could do this with all 5 senses, take about 3 minutes. That's a really quick mindfulness practice that brings you into the present moment. So this is all about the practices that help you to be more focused because you are more present in the here and now. So building in mindfulness practice, to be able to do that, you can't be on digital. So those two go together. The third strategy for really disconnecting, for recharging, is to be in nature. And so going outdoors regularly. For me, if I'm not outside every day, I think I get a little depressed. But it really is profound how nature has the ability to help us to heal and rejuvenate. So you could build this in with the first two strategies that we talked about. You could take a short walk in nature and be very mindful of what you see and what you hear and what you feel, the weight of your feet on the concrete. And then also doing that without your phone or any other digital distractions. 5 to 10 minutes of that. Notice how much that recharges your system very, very quickly. The fourth strategy is to practice journaling every day. And there's some different ways that you can do this, and there's some neuroscience about different techniques. So one that I like to do is either before you walk into the house, so that you're creating some kind of boundary between work and home, spend 5 to 10 minutes just writing everything that's in your mind, dumping it on the page. It doesn't have to make sense. This is a process for your brain to let go of what you've been through. That is really powerful to do an hour before you go to bed. So you could build it in with that digital detox an hour before you go to bed, dumping everything onto the page. Helps your brain to let go of the day. So again, that you're not trying to process the day in your sleep, and your deep sleep will be deeper. Other times that you could really do journaling would be a gratitude practice first thing in the morning, a written gratitude practice. Science has shown us that there are all kinds of benefits, mentally, physically, emotional, to gratitude, consistent gratitude practice that really shifts you into a state of being able to perform at a higher level. So doing that as a journaling practice first thing in the morning or at the end of your day, what was great today? What are you letting go of today? What do you want to do more of tomorrow? All of those are things that help you to, one, be more mindful, but it's a self-reflection practice. It helps you to tap into inner guidance. It helps you to process the feelings and emotions that are going on so that those things are not continuing to be an energy drain for you as you go into the next phase. So it's a recovery and recharge. My fifth strategy is really setting boundaries between work and your personal time. So I grew up in a family where both of my parents were lawyers, and I saw this at a young age. They made a rule that after 6 p.m. that there was no legal talk in the house because I think they would have driven each other crazy, right? It would always be on. So they made an intentional and found that it helped them be better parents and better partners in their marriage of not always being consumed by work and processing work. So how that can play with you if it's not a lawyer in your house is really making intentional boundaries around continuing to work once you're home, continuing to check email, talk to clients, those kind of things. But also, if you're going to process your day with your spouse or your partner, set a limit on that so that you can get out of the energy of whatever was going on in your day. It's very, very important for that to be that your system has separation so that it actually can help you to prevent burnout and ensures that you have the time to recharge. Another really great strategy is to engage in some kind of creative activity. So that might be something like painting or writing or playing a musical instrument. For me, I love to play music on different instruments. It's one of the most creative things that I can do, and it helps you to relieve stress. Exercise would do the same thing, but some creative activity is really amazing for recharging. And finally, my last strategy is really building a support network around you. It's important for us to have connection and support, and that's a key element to happiness. And the more that we are in those kind of states, like happiness or peacefulness or calm, then those are the states that recharge us for actually when we want to perform. So it's very important to build that network. It's one of the reasons that in our leadership community, we have a specific time each month that's really for a mastermind call that everybody comes into the space with something that they want to have insight or brainstorming on from other lawyers. And it's an incredible way to help you not feel so alone or stressed out. And it is a way to recharge you because you are connecting with like minded people who understand what you're going through. So think about how you could build that in. And if you want to know more about what we do at Mind Over Law about helping lawyers and their teams to be more in peak performance, check out mindoverlaw.com.